You wanna know who I am? Folks call me the Bone Man, ain't my real name, but it's the one that stuck. Tonight on Requiem Radio, some say the blues was born in Mississippi, but if you listen real close, you'll hear the first note come from deeper in the red clay of Grady, Alabama, down where the pines bend away from the WSFA tall tower. The dead keep better rhythm than the living. This one is called The Graveyard Crossroads of Grady. Grady, Alabama was never more than a dot on the map. A patch of farmland 20 miles south of Montgomery, where the pines grow tall and the air smells of resin and dust. Folks there live simple, farming, timber hauling, singing hymns in little churches ringed by graveyards. But Grady's got a secret, a story the blues world's been telling wrong for 100 years. 'Cause before there was Robert Johnson at the Crossroads in Mississippi, there was Ike Zimmerman playing his guitar in the company of the dead. They say Ike was a quiet man, didn't talk much, didn't smile often. But when the sun went down and the whippoorwill started up, he'd sling that guitar over his shoulder and walk the dirt road straight into the graveyards. Macedonia, Union Grove, Bethlehem, like he was heading to class. Folks said he'd sit right down on the tombstones, picking slow blues in the moonlight. His fingers moved like water and his voice drifted soft between the cedar trees. It made people uneasy. A man could sing on his porch or in a juke joint, but not where the dead lay, not in the hush where even the crickets held their breath. Children whispered he's playing for the Hants, old women shook their heads. And one preacher said from his pulpit, no man who makes music among the graves will stay among the living for long. But Ike never explained himself, he just played. And the longer he played, the better he got, like somebody or something was teaching him. Now there's an old story about a boy who followed Ike one night. The moon was thin, the air heavy with pine sap. He hid behind a sweet gum tree and watched Ike sit by a grave marked with nothing but a weathered tin plate. Ike started slow on an E shuffle, his voice drawling that lonesome haw, 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 haw. But then the sound got thick, the shadows bent toward him instead of away. The boy swore he saw shapes rise up from the dirt, men in hats, women in faded dresses, swaying in time with the music, their faces turned down, their feet barely touching the ground. And though only Ike's hands touched the strings, the boy heard a fiddle join in, a harmonica moan, and a rhythm like bones clicking together. That boy ran home and never went back, said Ike wasn't playing for the dead, he was playing with them. Every country town's got a crossroads, and in Grady, Alabama, it's where County Roads 1 and 28 meet. That's where the pines open up and the red clay turns black at night. Now most folks know the tale, Robert Johnson meeting the devil at the crossroads in Mississippi. But down in Alabama, they tell it different. They say Robert Johnson came to Grady first looking for Ike Zimmerman. And what he found wasn't no devil, but a teacher who held his lessons in the graveyard. Ike told him, these folks listen better than the living. So the two of them sat among the stones, the wind thick as syrup, the silence crowding in close. When they played together, the music didn't sound like it was coming from the guitars alone. It came from the ground, warped, slowed down, like it was coming from the bottom of a grave. It was like the echo of eternity humming in time. Some nights Johnson said he felt hands guide his fingers that were thin, cold, bony. He'd stop spooked half to death, and Ike would just grin and say, they just want to show you what you're doing wrong. When Johnson left Grady, his guitar sounded different. Two voices at once, one bright and sharp, the other dark and heavy, pulling against it like an undertow. That's the sound that made him legend, and he was born not in Mississippi, but right there in the graveyards of Grady, Alabama. Years later, long after both men had gone, somebody swore they saw old Ike again, silver-haired, guitar on his back, walking through Macedonia's gate under the full moon. Said she saw shapes moving with him, their outlines swaying in rhythm, the shadows stretching long across the ground. The music rose, fiddle, tambourine, voices lifting, till the whole graveyard sounded alive. Then, silence. Ike turned, winked, and walked away. Come morning, folks found the oldest stones had changed. Names that long worn away were carved clean again. And down at the bottom of a few, a little engraving of a guitar like the dead had signed their work. Grady's quiet now. The WSFA tall tower still hums above the pines, and the red roads still glow after rain. But some nights, if you stop near Macedonia and hold your breath, you'll hear it, a faint line of guitar answered by whispers from the ground. That's Ike's music, still playing, still teaching, still keeping time between the living and the dead. The blues, after all, was never just born at a crossroads. It was raised in a graveyard.
You've been listening to Requiem Radio, where music bleeds into the supernatural. And that was the graveyard crossroads of Grady. Some say the devil taught the blues to Robert Johnson at the crossroads in Mississippi. But maybe it was the dead who kept the beat. Ain't gonna be no more tonight. Y'all rest easy. And don't let the dark drive you home.